Hello and welcome to Fantasy Football Weekly, episode 13, the place where we discuss all things FPL. And as you know, if you don't know what that means, get off our channel. That is not the place for you. Unfortunately, bad news tonight. There's no Lee Dooley. Although he has top scored, he's actually had a power cut in Hull. Very, very bad news to lose the boy tonight. So it's just me and your faithful self, Fletchy, like the old times. How are you doing, mate?
No, I'm doing really good. First things first, I need to thank Yo-Yo for lending me his wire cutters yesterday. I really do appreciate that. No, I'm really pleased to be back on here. It's a real shame Dooley's obviously something's happened in Holt. Maybe Fernandinho's gone down there for a visit or something, and he's whacked the power cables, but pleased to be here, my son.
Yeah, I mean, power cuts sound like a lie, don't they? But normally, a lie would follow a stinky game week. But he had a worldie of a game week, so we know it's not rubbish. And unfortunately, he can't be with us. So, no further ado. Let's move on as we normally do and discuss the game weeks then. So we know Dooley had a worldie, but how did your game week go, Fletchy?
Well, I know probably a lot of the listeners, viewers will probably be waiting for me to have an absolute stink, but sorry to disappoint, but it's not happened again this week either. I've hit 65. I took a -4 hit, 3 moves, so put me on 61. I've now rose to 2.5k in the world, and I'm absolutely buzzing, to be honest. The big scores for me this week, I bought in Firmino, even though I ripped you for having him last week, but... After I heard about Coutinho injury, and obviously we all heard the bombshell on Friday that Harry Kane was not going to make it. Top managers make top decisions, and I bought in Firmino for him. So very, very pleased. Obviously, my boy Gross stepping up again, got me another 7 points. De Gea, just the likely lads, really. The ones that have been pushing me up all season. Very, very pleased. How about yourself, Tomo?
Well, it went well. Marginally worse than you. Got 61. But I'd also, I'd -4. So realistically, it was 57 in the bank. I was really pleased, to be honest, with the game week. It's an above average score. Average score was 46. So it's the first time that I've sort of convincingly gone above the average threshold. So very, very pleased with that. I captained Morata, who I brought in for Kane. That's what tipped me over into the -4. I'd made the early move right at the start of the game week to bring in Aguero. And obviously his 120 minutes midweek in the Carling Cup completely scuppered my plans. Left me once Kane then was injured with probably only one playing striker at that point, which was Firmino. And as we know, he's been out of form, and there was even a question mark as to whether he would start. So I had to make another move. I brought Morata in. I captained him. I was a bit gutted that he only got the assist because, to be honest, he had a lot of good chances in the first half, at least 2 or 3 that you'd expect him to put away on another day. So could have been a lot better, but all in all, very, very pleased. Now, obviously, we've touched on Kane, and I think it's now a big, big, big talking point. We've both outed him. I heard just before we came online that he's trained today and he's in the squad for tomorrow night against Real Madrid. So let's kick it off with that talking point because it's just huge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely massive. Obviously, I touched on it just a minute ago, but my thinking when I heard it on Friday was, I've got a 12.8 player currently, injured. I have no idea when he's coming back. It could be Wednesday. It could be Palace. It could be after internationals. If I was to keep him, I'd want him as my captain next week. Would I get the assurances that he's fit, he's ready to go? The only way I would get that, I guess, is if he was to play the Madrid game. So, with all that, I decided to ship him because I just felt that even if he was to play 70, 75 or 80 on Wednesday night, is he then going to play 90 on Saturday?
Unlikely, I think.
So they were the reasons I took him out. Obviously, I've also got a wild card. So, you know, in a few weeks, if he's really causing me problems and he's, you know, hitting braces or whatever, then, you know, I could possibly bring him back. But I will not be bringing him back this week.
Whoa, that's kicking it off with a very, very bold statement. Very bold statement. The top scoring striker in the league at the moment, at home against fodder, and you're not going to bring him in. Wow.
No.
If he's fit, plays 90, and Pochettino says, yeah, he's going to play at the weekend, you still wouldn't bring him in?
No, because, okay, yeah, he done well in the Liverpool game, but what's he done against fodder so far, you know, this season?
He struggled, but it could be one that burns you. I mean, to give you my thoughts on it, when I took him out, I actually was thinking, there's no way he's playing next week. When I took him out, I was thinking he's done his hamstring. It's high up the back of his hamstring. You know, it's a relatively, you know, difficult injury to recover quickly from. And it seems like Pochettino's he's probably got no faith in Llorente or Son tomorrow night. But could he have faith in Llorente or Son for Saturday? Quite possibly, thinking he could get the result without Kane. But I have to be honest, it surprised me that he's in this squad for tomorrow night. It just makes me think that it's a risky game that Pochettino's potentially playing, and he doesn't take that risk with any other player, does he? Every other player he brings back gradually, and he's very cautious with. So could be an interesting one. He could easily break down tomorrow night, and who knows, he could then definitely not be in my plans. But if he gets through tomorrow night, I've got the money in the bank to just do the opposite move to what I did last week, which would be Morata out again and Kane back in. Would probably be my one and only move this game week if he does survive tomorrow night, to be honest.
So if he plays 90 tomorrow night, is he coming back in for you?
I would wait until Friday's presser. But if Friday's presser, Pochettino says to me, he's come through unscathed, he's in the squad for tomorrow, I'll bring him in, yeah.
Yeah, well, my opinion on that would be, if you've kept him, fair enough, keep him, see what happens Wednesday, see what happens in the presser, but I personally won't be bringing him back in, but that was always my plan. Obviously, you've planned, you've saved the money, so taking out Morata at home for Kane, who you're not sure about, you know, is he going to pull up? You know, he could come through Wednesday night, play 90, he could then pull up on Saturday. It's just a lot of question marks at the moment.
I don't really, after, to be honest, although he missed a couple of decent chances in that first half, I don't really fancy Morata this weekend. That game could easily be typical Mourinho style. For example, like I saw on a thread, a lot of people saying that, you know, they got Jones and and Alonso, and they're going to play them both. I'm in that boat, and I'm probably going to play them both because they both stand a high chance of a clean sheet, I think.
But, you know, the one thing, you know, I know about Chelsea Football Club is they raise it when Man U come to town. 100%. 100%. Look at last season.
Returns there for Morata, do you, this weekend?
Yeah, oh yeah. Stamford Bridge will be rocking, mate. Early goal, 3 or 4-0.
Very, 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 very big call when it does come off. Look
what Huddersfield done a couple of weeks ago. They're not invincible away from home. Yeah, nice early goal. Could be 3 or 4. 3 or 4-1 maybe. Stamford Bridge, season back on. You know, we're looking good again. 3 wins in a row this week. But yeah, you've saved the money for Kane. If you want to bring him back in, fair play to you. But it's not a move I'm doing.
The only thing that could maybe sway me away from that is possibly moving Aguero to Kane, because depending on what's happening midweek here with Champions League minutes, that could easily dictate which one of them goes, to be honest. If they both come through unscathed and they both are there for the weekend, I'd rather have Aguero moving forward, probably. Because I think now he has edged him in front of Jesus. I don't think Jesus, looking at the highlights, he didn't look particularly sharp. He went through one-on-one, didn't he? He looked like a Thetford Rovers striker, basically. Really struggling, I thought, to be honest. As an owner, as I know you are, you can't be too happy with Jesus sat in your side at the moment.
Well, I've just put him in, so
that's what I mean.
Yeah, I was expecting returns from him, but to be honest, I took him out too early before, and he stays for me. I'm looking at Lukaku for game week 12, so I'm looking to make no moves this week, and then game week 12, I'm looking to upgrade Jesus to Lukaku. I probably maybe should have put Lukaku in at home to Spurs. But I just felt with the Chelsea game, I didn't really fancy him against Spurs. I thought Jesus would start. So, yeah, maybe I should have put in Lukaku, but I'm quite happy with Jesus. You know, Man City Arsenal's got goals written all over it. You know, if he starts on the bench, you still fancy him off benches for the last half an hour against Arsenal, wouldn't you?
Yeah. You think Aguero's ahead of him now in the pecking order, though?
I think that pecking order is just a maze, to be honest. But I think Sane's top of the tree right now. But yeah, Aguero starts against Arsenal.
Yeah, and without a doubt. That's why I'd be nervous with as a Jesus owner now. I'd be thinking, I wanted the returns against West Brom. They didn't come. Would I now be sitting on him while he sits on the bench against Arsenal? Probably not. I'd potentially be looking at that move. I suppose you haven't got the money to do it in one move. That's maybe why you're not looking at it.
Do you not think against that Arsenal defence he might just say, you know what, I'm going to chuck Aguero and Jesus up there against the Arsenal defence away from home?
It's an interesting one. How does it work now with them playing two up top? He tried it at the start of the season, didn't he, playing with wing-backs? Sane and Sterling have overperformed, and as a result, how can he start them both now? He can't, can he?
So who do you think starts tomorrow? It has to be Kane.
Yeah, of course. He didn't play a minute, did he, at the weekend? Hence why I would be a bit nervous now going into the weekend, because if Kane gets drawn into a dogged 90 minutes, you know, where they're chasing results at Napoli, could be a whole different story, that's for sure. But what I'm thinking is that they'll share the minutes tomorrow night. I'm thinking Aguero maybe will play 75, something like that. Jesus will come on last 15, but who knows how the game goes. Jesus started last time, didn't he, against Napoli? He might go with a completely different tactic tomorrow night. You just don't know with the guy, do you? Unfortunately, that's why it's so interesting as an FPL player this year. But also, parallel with that is the headache that comes with it, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, I think if you're a KDB owner, you maybe are you looking for the Sane switch possibly? Obviously, I put in Sane 3 weeks ago. We're talking about him. I was considering captaining him, but it was too much of a ballsy move for me just because of this rotation. But I'm seriously, if he doesn't start or doesn't play 2 minutes on Wednesday, I think I'm going to captain him against Arsenal.
Well, he's got form, hasn't he?
He's looking outrageous. He really is. These real big hauls. When he starts, he scores.
He's also, I watched the highlights, I didn't watch the game fully, but he was in so many good positions as well, and they weren't finding him. He was screaming for the ball, weren't he, at back sticks often. Wasn't getting it. On another day, he gets it. He could have hit 2 or 3, definitely. He's looking the real deal, there's no question. And I wanted to just say, because you made a good point about KDB. KDB, he's owned by 20% of the game. 19% of the game owns Sane. You've got to see that that's going to start swinging in Sane's favour over the next week or two, don't you think?
Well, I know people are negative on a so-called sideways move, taking out KDB for Sane, but it just looks like a great move right now. Just free yourself up, 1.5 mil or something. Sane, I bought him 8.3. He's now, I think he's 8.6 or 8.7. He's rising so much.
8.7.
Yeah, if he scores at the weekend, he could be 9 mil by next game week. He's flying up. It's just incredible. And, people might say maybe you missed a wave, but I just think that price is going to increase and increase. He'll probably go up again this week.
Also, I think you've got to factor how much he loved him towards the end of last season, didn't he? Once Sane got in the team towards the end of last season, he was a mainstay, wasn't he? He often played 90s. He was on the team sheet every single week, and he's looking like he's getting a similar run of games now. I mean, interesting one. I wouldn't be looking for... I've got Sterling, so I'm kind of in a boat that... I'm almost happy to stick on that at the moment. And to be honest, I haven't got the funds distributed in a way that I can double up easily and get Sane and Sterling. It's just not there for me at the moment, as I want to bring Kane in. I think a lot of people will be looking at the KDB sideways to Silva. I think a lot of people to Sane, and I think a lot of people will be looking at that sideways Silva to Sane, won't they also?
Yeah.
I was delighted with the Sterling goal off the bench, obviously. To be honest, I wiped the sweat from my brow when that one happened, because had Sterling not played, I was really struggling to get a decent 11 out, to be honest, because obviously Aguero hadn't come on at that point, so I was relieved, to say the least, when Sterling produced. I know a lot of people would have been as well. They're both just looking class. I think a lot of people will try and negotiate that double up, but it's not easy to get them both in your side, is it?
No, it's this rotation. This when it's coming to a Saturday and you're waiting for that City team news to come out, and your heart's just like this is horrendous. When I saw the team sheet, I saw Sane, Jesus starting. I thought the gods have delivered again. But
especially when it was 2 early goals, I was really fearing the worst. I was thinking, oh, here we go. I was just, every time I looked at my phone, I was expecting Jesus goals, and obviously I was delighted they didn't come.
No, definitely. I think it's a short-term move for me. Like I said, I've got a plan for him. Obviously, I was looking for returns on Saturday. 40 to start. 40 might get me a goal, but I'm looking to leave him for Arsenal, and then I'm looking to upgrade him to Lukaku, Gameweek 12, Newcastle at home, Brighton at home. And I'm also
he has a period where he's very captain worthy, then, doesn't he? For a good while. You want to have them options in your squad, that's for sure. I'm looking at similar. I was going to mention Lukaku a little bit later. I want to say a bit more on him. While we're on the subject of midfielders, there was a lot of performing mids over the weekend, wasn't there? Like, there's almost an abundance of options now at the moment. Just to list a few: Ramsey obviously scoring again. We touched on Sane. Hazard scored away from home. Really good finish, to be fair, and looked dangerous, didn't he? He looked sharp again. Gross producing another assist. Zaha, the list goes on, basically. All with relatively nice fixtures as well. So, let's discuss that bracket at the moment, because there's a lot of options.
No, Gross, just incredible. The guy's just returning. I didn't watch the game on Sunday, but I saw the goal come on live score. It said Murray, and I was waiting for the assist, and I thought, surely it can't be Gross again. Gross just popped up again. Another 2 bonus.
Do you know what? It didn't on my phone. It popped up proper. I don't know if anyone else had this. I was literally, no, serious. It was Murray goal. And I was just like, yes! Knock off them Southampton cleanies. And no Gross involvement. Literally, 5 minutes later, because I'm an addict, I thought I'll check the score again. It's got a little Gross assist. Oh, this cannot be happening, this Gross disease. Honestly, he's just... How many assists he got now this season? It must be 5 or 6.
He's only behind KDB and Silva
for
assists.
It's fantastic in the price bracket. It really is.
Yeah, I think I know a lot of people have switched to Richarlison, which obviously didn't work out for us, and obviously everyone else who put him in. But yeah, Gross at 5, I think he's 5'8" still. If you're looking for, a fourth mid, I'm playing him every week, and I'm getting returns. So I think it's a great move for anyone 5'8". Got to be looking.
Completely agree. He's another one that just doesn't quite work into my plans. Depending on where your issues are, is whether you can maybe look at a midfield move. And for me, if you've got any issues in midfield, Gross is just a no-brainer at the moment, isn't he? Although he did get pulled off, didn't he, with 5-6 minutes to go, he generally does play 90s. He's in such a dangerous position, and he's so creative. Like you said last week, top assists in the Bundesliga last year, and it's transferred over into the Premier League. And to be honest, you had him in your initial draft, and it's a top shout so far. It really is. Well, I'll tell you what, one thing, because speaking about midfielders, one big midfielder flop, Alexis Sanchez. And I know a lot of people would have got sucked in big style with the free hit chip this week, because I know I was looking at it when the Kane news broke. We discussed it. What were your thoughts? Were you ever close to playing it, and did you draft aside and consider?
No. Obviously, I had 2 free moves, so it was a little bit different. I did have a lot of injuries, but never really crossed my mind. I think people were panicking. They heard the Kane news. A lot of people don't have strong benches because they've gone for the free up top. And I just think people panicked. And the free chip sides I saw in the leagues I'm involved, I outscored them all. So I think people really panicked and really start to regret using it.
I could understand the thought process, because I had the same thought process. So I was looking at my squad. I think the problem was I'd made the early move. So I made that Aguero move early, and I made the Richarlison move relatively early. So I'd exhausted my 2 free moves. So I was immediately put in a position where I needed to take a hit then with Kane. And I think I did draft the side, and I would definitely have gone down the Sanchez route as well. It looked too good to not, basically, didn't it? Big differential, 2% ownership. And the 1 or 2 of the free hit sides I looked at went down that route, and they just must have been absolutely devastated, close of play, because it has flopped well and truly, hasn't it? I text you, didn't I, in the morning saying, waking up to the smell of burnt free hit chips. I love it. I think there'd have been a lot of, I wish I could find a stat for how many people played that in the whole game, because I would have thought there'd be a fair few thousand would have burnt that up at the weekend. So yeah, good news for us that didn't use it, I guess. I mean, arguably, we was going to discuss where you would play it. So what's your thoughts? I mean, a lot of people talk about them short game weeks where there's less fixtures. Are you of that trail of thought? It's the best place to play?
No, my thoughts is to play it when my squad is in absolute tatters. So some people might play it this week and their squad was in absolute tatters, but I don't believe mine was. So I'm not looking, because with the double game weeks, there's so much to think about with bench boost. Are you going to save it for triple captain? You can't use, a wild card and a chip on the same week. There's so much to be involved with. Like, obviously, they've changed all out attack to free chip, which is obviously a much better chip now. So, yeah, I'm looking to use one of my chips early, I would think. I wouldn't even rule out using a triple captain early, because I think they are... I think the chips are slightly overrated, and I think everyone says, yeah, just save it for double game weeks. But I think there's enough good single fixtures to maybe just use your triple captain nice and early, get the points on the board, and then you can. Obviously, the bench boost is the main one for me. I think with the double game weeks coming up, I like to. In previous seasons where you've had triple captain saved, you have bench boost saved, you've got your wild card saved. There's so much planning, because sometimes the fixtures come out late towards the end of the season, and things aren't announced. I just think I'd like to maybe use either the free chip or even triple captain.
The triple captain. Have you got a fixture in your mind, or a fixture you've seen, in the next few weeks or something like that you're even considering? Because that's I'm surprised you're saying that.
What about Kane against Palace? No, I'm joking. Have I got anything in mind? I haven't got anything in mind at the moment. To be honest, I don't sort of plan long term on fixtures, but
okay.
I wouldn't rule out a single game week use for me.
The problem with that is because previously, like Kane and Sanchez and Aguero, they've been the three, haven't they? That ideally you would triple captain one of them, and obviously the fixtures don't always fall in a way that you can necessarily. A lot of people would have used it on Sanchez last year, but game week 36 when he had two games, very, very bold to use it in a single game week and it come off. Very, very bold, but fair play to you if you do and it comes off. I'd be very, very impressed. I'm kind of hoping that it will just, like most seasons, it sort of happens organically later on in the year when it gets around game week 30 and the cup congestion starts kicking in, the double game weeks start getting announced, and then it sort of just naturally happens that you think, right, that looks my favourite for bench boost, that looks my favourite for triple captain, that's likely where I'm playing my free chip. Who knows, there might even be 3 double game weeks. And I think, imagine playing a free hit chip in a double game week. Like, that would probably have as much power as playing it in a week where there's only 4 or 5 fixtures.
True. Yeah.
That 4 or 5 fixtures thing, normally they're the crap teams, aren't they, basically, that aren't in cup competitions. As a result, maybe don't score that many goals, and actually a free hit might not actually return a great deal. It's an interesting one. Definitely one I think I would be sitting on and waiting for probably second half of the season.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think the way I'm thinking as well, obviously, I've had a great start. And in our FF Weekly, I've got a nice lead. And in my other main mini league I'm in...
here we go. Well, this isn't the section where you blow your own trumpet.
Yeah, of course it is. I'm 45 clear in that as well. So the thought of me maybe, producing a triple captain and then extending my leads even further, I just think mentally, if I could really push on, it could affect people in behind. It could affect their decisions just by the gap I've got. But we all know, last season I choked quite a bit towards the end of the season, and I don't see that happening again. So, yeah, for me personally,
your choke last year made it competitive, then, didn't it? And it almost made it competitive again for you because what was your gap last year? Do you remember its height?
It was at least 120, 130, I think.
Wow, yeah, that's incredible. And then by the end.
Yeah. But obviously,
the game you're fighting around.
Yeah, but obviously I'd used my chips and some people hadn't, so this was towards the end as well. But yeah,
got you. Yeah, interesting one. Yes, I mean it's an interesting one to see how your tactics would evolve over the season. Obviously, I'm in a position now where I've had a decent game week, so I've rose again. But obviously, I'm not going to get carried away about that because I know it takes weeks and weeks and weeks of just grinding out these above average scores and making sure you don't have a stink. That's the biggest thing. Not necessarily chasing them one-off crazily good game weeks, because what often follows that is sometimes a series of really, really bang average weeks, if not below average. So just trying to aim now above that average line every single week, I know is going to gradually give me them green arrows up the table. You are a different kettle of fish for me at the moment. You've already got, what, 115 points, I think, lead on me currently. That's not a lead at the moment I can think about tackling. I just attack the green arrows, I'll get up the league, and then at some point, if I'm within striking distance, say of 50 points, something like that, yeah, my tactics would absolutely be built around catching you, taking the risks necessary to catch you. Otherwise, why would you play the game? You don't play the game for second. I know people that have played in the past and they don't take them risks late on in the season to give themselves a chance of winning the league. I won't name any names, Cameron Senior, but it can, you know, basically put you in a situation where you play it safe too much, and as a result, you eradicate your chance of winning it. And I won't fall into that bracket you know, by the end of the season if I'm within striking distance.
So there's obviously a lot of listeners and viewers that maybe have not started the season so well. Do you still believe that you can reach, you know, title winning potential in your both mini leagues you're in?
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah. No, of course.
That's positive.
I mean, last season, I think we spoke about it a couple of game weeks ago. In my second half of the season was somewhere around 150 to 200 points stronger than yours. Fair enough, you did choke. So there's a swing there potentially of 200 points. I would need you to choke. I have to be honest. It wouldn't be all down to my fantastic management if you continue your good management, you know. So it's going to be a bit of both, isn't it? Inevitably, you're going to go through a bad patch. You have to, and I've just got to be ready with them green arrows when you go for it, basically.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, that's my intention. But I'll tell you now, though, it's one of the most enjoyable seasons for me. Obviously, I'd rather have 100 points on the board, but these options just seem to change every week. Surprising things seem to crop up more than any other season, it seems. Just seems like the squads are so big at the moment. Rotation is a bigger factor than ever. For me, it's just an awesome FPL season. So yeah, long may it continue. What I wanted to move on to, Fletchy, because now there's a couple of teams that sort of turned a bit of a corner. Liverpool obviously got back to winning ways. Leicester got a really, really good win. Wanted to talk about those two very, very briefly. Leicester, Mahrez played in a hole. Vardy back to you know, getting on the score sheet. What did you think of their performance and their assets moving forward?
No, I thought they were very good. Obviously playing a poor Everton side. I'm not sure what Unsworth's doing there, but no, Leicester very, very impressed. That's just a typical Mahrez assist Vardy goal, isn't it? Really, really nice. Really nice. Vardy coming in late, just banging it in. Really, really nice Ronas, to be honest. I know Dooley's got Vardy and he's waited a long time for that goal. So, and obviously, I think you mentioned it earlier to me, Chilwell was playing left midfield, wasn't he? What's his price in
4-3 is, and obviously classified as a defender. So he's an out of position opportunity, which if he does nail down that starting role, basically he's competing with all Brighton, isn't he, for that left mid now?
Yeah, he looks very well. I can't see him changing the side after a 2-0 win. And also Damari Gray looked awesome. Really, really good. Not sure on his price. I'd imagine he's what, 5.55, something like that?
Very good question. I've never even looked at him. No, I think he's 5.5. As a guess, I think I might have seen that around that bracket. Very good shout.
He looked very, very lively. If Pugh, you know, likes him, he's going to start him. He could come into that fourth mid option or maybe fifth mid rotating. But definitely one to note. Leicester, Stoke away. Yeah, I'd like to monitor them there, see how solid they look. But he's a pretty defensive manager, so it might be worth, you know, bringing in maybe a Maguire, a Chilwell, maybe a Morgan at 4-5 if you know he's going to carry on like that. But for me, probably worth monitoring, definitely.
Yeah, I think it's a good shout you mentioned them defender brackets, because I think a lot of people will now be in a situation where if they are looking to drag a bit more funds into midfield or drag a bit more funds up top, they might be looking to downgrade a defender at this point. And I think Leicester are arguably a decent one to get on, aren't they? With Simpson at 4-5, Morgan at 4-5, assuming he nails down the centre-half position with Maguire. Maguire, for me, probably isn't worth the extra money. I know he's going to pop up maybe with a goal, but I certainly would be going down the Chilwell, Simpson, Morgan route. But that's just me, because I would want to use that money probably elsewhere. Very, very interesting. So I know you touched on Firmino earlier. We both had Firmino. I kept faith with him. Thank God that I did, because to be honest, had I taken him out after, I had a look, by the way, it was 6 blanks on the trot I'd had him for. So obviously I brought him in after his second week performance in my game week 3 wildcard, I believe, and then suffered 6 blanks on the trot. Admittedly, I had other issues in my squad. That's probably why he was still in the side, but thank the Lord he popped up with something at last, and now he's looking like a decent option, particularly with his Coutinho injury, isn't he? I mean, you brought him in at a perfect point, to be fair.
Yeah, that's so nice. He blanked him for 6 weeks. Fletchy brings him in. He's getting headers from corners. I love it. And also, obviously, Salah missed a penalty. Would have been a Firmino assist, and that would have been some big points for me and you. I don't know if you've seen the Salah penalty. Wasn't a great penalty. I know the keeper was off the line, but do you think he steps up for the next one, or do you think it goes back to Firmino?
I think he loses pens. I've seen the.
I agree.
You've got to lose them. It was absolutely disgusting technique. It looked like a man that had never taken a penalty in his life, didn't it? Like been plucked out of the crowd to take the pen.
I agree.
Surely he knew he was on him. He would have been, practicing where he was going to go. He looked like he didn't know what he was going to do with it, unfortunately, because, like you say, we both had Salah, so I love the points. I was surprised Milner didn't take it. He was on the pitch, weren't he? He had a great record last year. I'm very, very surprised.
Yes.
He's not going to be on the pitch enough, is he, to be the penalty taker? That's why they're looking for other options. Yeah,
I suppose we better do a shout out to Dooley, who obviously bought in Sturridge. I think he got a little bit lucky with a Coutinho injury, but no, fair play, bought him in. But have you got some news on what Dooley's looking at for next week?
You know what he told us, didn't he? Just as the power went off. But basically, he was saying he's going to hold on to Sturridge. He's not bringing in Kane. And to be honest, I forget what else he was going to say. He's talking about using a wild card now, isn't he? Basically,
he's talking about. So he's talking about using the wild card and keeping Sturridge.
Yes, I believe, but leaving enough funds in the bank. Yeah, that's what he said. Leaving enough funds in the bank to bring Kane in after the international break. So he's learned from his errors of earlier in the season when he didn't have a game plan for bringing Kane back in.
So why would you not? If you're playing a wild card and he's fit on Saturday, you might as well just bring him in this week, mightn't you?
Yeah, you would think so, wouldn't you?
That's a question I'll be posing next week, especially if Kane's hit braces. But
too right. Obviously, he had Fernandinho as well. Let's have a quick chat about this. I mean, fair enough. He's hit the top score this week. We'll come to that in a minute in a bit more detail when we go through the FFW League. But he's top scored, and he had Fernandinho and Valencia came in off the bench, giving him a grand total of 18 points off the bench. I mean, you'd almost be happy with that from a bench boost week, wouldn't you? To be honest, it's a lovely return off the bench. Tad fortunate because he had Clark starting ahead of him in his first 11. I mean. Why you would do that, I do not know.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he's starting a 4.5 Clark ahead of a 6.6 Valencia. But, he's obviously got a bit spawny there. Fernandinho, obviously I slated him over the past 3 weeks. And he's produced, to be fair. Will never enter my side. As long as I've got blood running through my body. But, not for me. But to be honest, he's doing a job for Dooley. And
he needed it big time, didn't he? He's responded in the best way possible. He absolutely choked Big Style last week, and he's just responded with the top score. You can't react any better than that, can you? No. However it's come about, he needed it, Big Style, and he's just gone above me by another 5 points. So, obviously not great for these Galactico boys.
But it's about consistency. The reason I'm where I am is because I've been hitting solid weeks. You two have hit a really good week now. Now you need to push on. Consistent. That's probably what Dooley's thinking now. Hit a good week, wants to put in his wild card and bang out another couple of good weeks, I would think, and really push on. So yeah, it'll be very, very, very interesting to see what he's got to say for himself next week.
Yeah, what I would say is follow us at Twitter at FF Weekly. Dooley's very, very active on there, and what we'll do is we'll get him to post some of his ideas for like his mainstay players that he's going to have in his wildcard draft, and get a bit of feedback from him, because to be honest, we've been, he's had the lows of the game weeks prior to this, so he deserves to have a bit of buzz about that. It's a shame, like I say, that he can't be on this week. Get on Twitter and let's get some conversation going about what he's thinking. For me, I'd take them Sturridge points and run now, to be honest. I'd move him back out on my side. I'd accept I've called it right that he's going to play this game, and I'll move him back out on my side. He still only played like 75 minutes, didn't he, Fletch? Like, he didn't play the whole game. You know what I mean? He's not long-term, FPL asset, is he?
No, he also didn't get any bonus either. So you got to weigh that up as well. But if Coutinho's fit for West Ham, is Sturridge going to start? Not for me. So I also agree to get rid, but we'll see.
We'll see. We breezed over their midfield performing guys. So Zaha, really, really late goal, 97th minute. To be honest, he should never have been scoring that, should he? Given the opportunity to turn, but he finished it quite nicely.
Yeah,
it's a great poor defending, to be honest. There was two of them there, and they both let him turn back onto his right and roll it in the corner.
Yeah,
dubious defending for me.
Yeah, it seemed a little bit of fate. It sort of went for a few legs in there as well, didn't it? But it was a nice finish, to be fair. I don't know what Antonio was doing in the corner, trying to cross it in, just keep it in the corner.
Yeah, it's
really
Bedford Rovers stuff again. I think, to be honest, because now a lot of people will be looking at him. He's got 2 home games now, I believe, or 2 home games in 3, something like that. And then he's got really nice run of games, and he's not a bad show. Is he playing up top? He sort of played Zaha and Townsend as a front 2, didn't he? Basically.
Yeah, I was really, really looking at. I was trying to do Jesus in for Kane and Carroll out for Zaha. I was 0.1 short. I was waiting for Jesus to drop, but he didn't drop. So yeah, I was looking at Zaha hard, to be honest. But obviously got Spurs away now. Then he's got the 2 home games, and he's got a great run of fixtures. So yeah, if people are looking for midfielders, like we said with Gross, I think Zaha's so worthy. Maybe not this week, but after that. If Richarlison's not hitting the ground running, I could be doing that swap, to be honest.
Very true. I mean, it's typical, isn't it? Richarlison has just returned every single week, whether it be just even an assist. We both bring him in, and he hits 1 point. Bold accounts had chances again, didn't he? He's had more shots on goal than Salah, but it's just not converting him. He's not great, is he, in front of goal? He gets into positions, but he's not a great finisher.
No, I was disappointed. I think a lot of people brought him in, but I guess Everton are playing badly, so let's hope for a goal on Sunday. If he blanks, then I don't know what the next fixture is off by heart, but yeah, I'm not going to stick with him too long. Like I said to you last week, I did think maybe we possibly might have missed the wave, but we'll see. But yeah, one to watch closely.
2, right? And you certainly don't take him out against Everton at the moment.
No.
I mean, they just look like they're all over the shop, don't they? And Watford will fancy that going there, won't they, I think? And they'll look for a response. I was surprised they got beat at home, to be honest, so I would expect them to bounce back.
Yeah.
Right, so let's touch on this FF Weekly League then. Dooley, top scored. He hit 71, did he? 71 points, I believe. Around that sort of bracket. Fantastic job from him. Yourself, you are 45 points clear at the top. You must be pleased with that. Really, really hefty lead now. One of the guys we talked up last week, Torres Magic, he had an absolute stinker this week. Not a good start with his quest to catch these Fletchy's winners. So looking for a big response from him now.
I did say my squad's better than his, and obviously I think he put in Juve this week, so maybe they
Sanchez in for Sterling and captain Sanchez. I mean, that's got to hurt.
Yeah. I think he made 4 moves, but yeah, maybe my mind games maybe put him off a little bit. I think he definitely bought in Juve as well, but I'm sure he'll be back soon.
Dooley 16th in the league, and I'm 17th in the league. So nicely moved up there. I was about 25th last week, so nearly jumped sort of, you know, 9 places or whatever.
What's your world ranking?
1.5 mil, which is my highest ranking of the year, obviously. After game week 3, I was 3 million. So basically closed 1.5 mil, you know, in the week since then. And to be honest, I've only had 1 red arrow. It was almost impossible to have any red arrows, how low I was, to be honest. I don't think I could have gone any lower. But it's a nice jump. I went from like 2 million to 1.5. So I caught up, you know, another 500,000. If I could make one more jump like that in the next 2 weeks, that'd be nice. If I can get, you know, under that million mark as soon as possible, then it all starts looking a bit nicer on paper. You feel like you're getting somewhere. Did you mention earlier what you're 2.5 in the world?
2.5k, yep.
That is not, sorry, 2.5k is what I meant. Yeah, that is nice at this stage of the season. I mean, you choked last year, didn't you? Once you got to your highest rank of the season, like 200 or whatever in the whole world, then you choked hard. So you must be looking to correct that this year, I'm assuming. Yeah,
well, you got to think. Obviously, I've not played wildcard. I've not used any chips, so I think I'd be a really, really high rank if you take out wildcards and chips, because there'll be some people in the top 2.5Ks probably use free chips, I would think. But obviously, you know, we used triple captain at the same time last year, and it didn't really pay off for us, did it? We did the Aguero 2, and Stoke, didn't they? Yeah, ever since that's when the choke started. I really needed to push on with that triple captain. But yeah, I'm looking to really push on. Obviously, no Kane could possibly hurt me this week. I just need to obviously nail my captain, and I think my squad's looking strong. Obviously, we both go in with Salah and Firmino. I don't know if you've read, but it sounds like West Ham defensively, they've got an injury crisis going on right now. So if Sane, you know, plays quite a lot on Wednesday, then I could be looking at either a Salah or Firmino captain away at West Ham. Really big call. Yeah. Really big call. Yeah, really big call. To be honest, West Ham have to get a result. If they get battered, you know, if they lose convincingly, Bilic is gone, isn't he? It's a tough one. I just, obviously, I'm looking at that Brighton game, and they were so dire. I just see 2 or 3 goals there for Liverpool. Really do. Could be wrong, but yeah, I'd be looking at Sane first, possibly. I think a Firmino wave could start now. Really do. I think that's going to give him some good confidence in there now. So yeah, be interesting. Yeah, he actually got his first 2 goals of the season when there was no Coutinho, and now Coutinho's dropped out, and he I don't know, he must take a bit more ownership or whatever. Maybe, and just gets in slightly more dangerous positions as a result of, you know, Coutinho vacating. Got a question from last week. It was not a bad one. I wanted to bring it up earlier, but Alex Stables, he's actually the one that's 45 points behind you. I mentioned on the Facebook page, he's been getting on with his business nice and quietly. 45 points behind you, so he's now your next challenger. He asked a question. He's got Morata due to high ownership, he's saying, and he's owned by 20% of the game. But he's saying, looks lightweight. Is Hazard a better option? Do you think it's worth making the switch, basically, is what he's asking, I think, for your Chelsea coverage. You own Morata, as do I. So what's your thoughts? My thoughts are, if he's looking to chase me down, then yeah, he should be putting in Hazard. But I think personally, I'd stick with Morata. I think, you know, the price is slightly cheaper, isn't it? I know Hazard's on penalties and he's hitting form. I just think Morata's going to hit another wave soon. But I could be wrong. You know, Hazard, I'm just not sure right now. He's always notoriously not done well away from home, has he? He's always been like the home man. He hits double figures, and then away from home, he does nothing. And I don't know, that Bournemouth, the way they set up sort of suited him. He was near enough as high as Morata at times, wasn't he? He does always score at Bournemouth, though. I think I might mention last week he's got a great record at Bournemouth. Yeah, I think obviously Begovic made a great save from Morata. Morata could have a brace. I know he was quiet second half, but yeah, I'd be sticking with Morata. I don't think because obviously I'm guessing to get Hazard in, you've then got to downgrade Morata, probably upgrade a midfielder. You're talking 2 moves. It's probably not easy to do for people.
Yeah, and you'd always be kicking yourself, wouldn't you? I think if you made the move and then Morata hits the brace, I think you'd be thinking, I've chased Hazard's points, and sometimes you've got to be patient. Maybe not 6 blanks with Firmino patient, possibly not, but being patient at times can pay off, I think, and it's not always easy to do.
Would you be comfortable captaining Hazard?
Away from home, no, definitely not. I would certainly captain him against Fodder at home. I would, and to be honest, he's produced against big sides at home as well, hasn't he?
True.
So yeah, home, I would certainly put the armband on him. I'm sure I have in the past, previous seasons. I mean, let's move on to that, because to be honest, it's our moves and captain, which, you know, you touched on Salah for you. I would look at that option, but for me, I'm looking at Sergio Aguero currently. Now, this is dependent, obviously, not bringing Harry Kane in. If Pochettino says on Friday's presser that he's fine, Kane comes in, and he's just got to be my captain if he comes in. I know he's blanked against Fodder at home, but I would take that risk going into the international break that he can hit something. So that would be probably my most likely route. If I don't bring Kane in, because I think he's maybe not going to play, I would probably captain Aguero, because I think there's returns for him against Arsenal this weekend. I think there's goals in that game.
Yeah, definitely. My advice to you would be not to bring in Kane. I just think you should just wait now. You've took him out. You've got a good captain there in Aguero. I just think with Kane, you know, if he starts this Madrid game, he plays 70, 75. Is he then going to risk him again on the weekend to play Palace?
Going into an international break, I think he would.
Is he going to play 90?
No, maybe not. No, maybe not. If the game's won, then pull him off. But I don't know, you don't see many scenarios. It's so difficult to predict, because we've not really been in this situation before. He's got good options there, hasn't he, in Llorente and Son, that should be able to win the game without him, you would think. So you could definitely see both sides of the argument. It's a really, really tough one. Really, really tough one.
Yeah,
one thing I would say is about Pochettino is he's generally quite transparent in his press conferences, though, isn't he? He's not always spot on with his, you know, when he says someone's coming back, sometimes they're not coming back and they end up still being out. He maybe misjudges things, but he often does say it how it is. He's not like Pep, who speaks in, hidden ways and maybe isn't so transparent.
Yeah, well, from, you know, past history of Poch, he said some weird things. Like, he said Rose has come back and then he was out for like 5 months. He's said a few little weird things as well in the past.
Inaccuracies, yeah.
Yes.
But I don't know, like, I feel like if he says Kane's in the squad tomorrow, he's trained today, being Friday, he's in the squad for tomorrow, that's all I need to hear. He's in my side if I hear that, basically. If I don't hear that, I won't bring him in and I'll hold the transfer. I think that's what my decision is going to rest on, to be honest. And probably a lot of people will be taking it in a similar way.
If Kane starts against Palace, you fancy them for 3 or 4, do you? Or do you not think Palace can be resolute there?
I don't think they've got what it takes to park the bus in the way Swansea did. I know Bournemouth conceded 1, Burnley conceded 1. I just think Palace will concede 2 or 3. It's just a case of whether Kane gets the 2 or 3, obviously.
You don't think, obviously, the Madrid game is going to take a lot out of every player. You not think, obviously, I think the Spurs game Sunday at 12 o'clock, you not think it could be a little bit flat, that game, or not?
Well, what I would say to that is the stats we've seen with Kane in early kickoffs. Now, fair enough, they've not always been playing Real Madrid on a Wednesday prior to that early kickoff on a Sunday, but I wouldn't read too much into that. That wouldn't be a strong enough point to put me off my decision, to be honest. I just think he's the best player in the league, and if he plays against Crystal Palace, who I think are susceptible to conceding goals, I want the armband on him. It's as simple as that. I had that opinion, though, against Swansea. I had it against Bournemouth, Burnley, and it didn't come off. So I'm very aware it may not come off. But you got to go with your gut, haven't you? My gut's telling me Harry Kane's fit. He's back in my side, and the armband's on him, to be honest. But we'll see, especially considering you've said you're not going to go with him. So, fair enough, you haven't got Aguero either. But I like the fact I'd have a Kane differential over you. would be nice going into international break with something. Huge week, obviously, with the international break, which is just absolutely shocking for all FPL managers. No one likes them, do they? And the worst thing you want to do is have a stinky game week going into an international break and then waiting 2 weeks to put it right, you know? So it's very, very crucial to get this captain choice spot on, that's for sure.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
I think that's it then, Fletchy. I think that's it. We've done all right, haven't we? We're back to a duo again. We'll welcome back Ghost Ship with open arms next week, assuming he gets this electricity fixed over in the Holt regions. And, clap to Dooley, responding with top game week. Clap to yourself, 45 points, clear at the top now of FF Weekly. And these Galacticos, they've got to do more, haven't they, to close the gap? But I will certainly be trying, that's for sure. Good luck, everyone. Next game week. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, FF Weekly. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and post on our comments because we do bring up decent questions.
Cheers. Good night. Cheers, mate.